Honestly, the Ford Bronco doesn't really need an introduction. I lived with the Ford Bronco for a week, and I have a ton to say about it. I waited for the hype to kind of go down for this video to have a much more objective view of the car and what I really think about it. Also, a quick shout out to the Bronco Off-Rodeo and Bill Stein for bringing me out to rip the Bronco off-road. So it makes this review even better. We got the street, and we got the off-road. So is the new generation Ford Bronco everything we ever wanted? Well, aside from the crazy dealership prices. Let's go for a drive and find out. Bronco! Ford Bronco. The actual Bronco. Not the Sport, because I think it's pretty universally agreed we don't talk about that one. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are finally in the Ford Bronco. Ford Bronco, what do I think of it? Number one thing, out of all of the retro future cars that have ever come out, I think the design language of the Ford Bronco is the best executed. I think when you look at the original Bronco and the new Bronco, you think in your head, oh yeah, totally the same car, just newer. It doesn't have this jarring experience of, that's not a Bronco. Very much how the Bronco Sport is being received right now. I think one of the biggest things about this vehicle is there's so many options. You can get this vehicle in so many different trim levels. If you just want the base model that just looks cool, you can do that. But what's even neater about these trims is up here on the dash, you have these buttons. They're called the hero buttons. And essentially, if you have a fully spec'd out Bronco, this entire section will be filled in. Now this is the Outer Banks edition, so there's a few of them missing. And one of them is a front locker, and the other one is a sway bar disconnect. Now the sway bar disconnect is an off-roading cheat code. When I went off-roading in the Bronco, I actually didn't have one with the sway bar disconnect. I had the front and rear lockers, which were incredibly helpful.
There we go. That's the shot.
It was Lee sending me that.
Woo!
I'm ready for it.
Layer it in.
But the sway bar disconnect drops the suspension by 17 inches. So if you are three-wheeling, you're not three-wheeling anymore, most likely. One of my favorite features about this vehicle is the aiming sights. Like, there's sights on the fenders like you would look down the sights of a rifle, basically. And it says, hey dude, this is exactly where your tire is, so don't put this sight over something that's sharp or something that could jeopardize you getting stuck. We also have wireless Apple CarPlay. We have navigation, we have all that good stuff. A massive screen in the middle that's very nice. It'll even tell you if somebody in the car isn't wearing their seatbelt, but specifically what seat. So you'll see this little diagram pop up that says, hey, it's this guy being irresponsible. Also, when you change into the GOAT modes, literally they're called GOAT modes for this vehicle, like sport mode, eco mode, sand, mud, it has these really cool animations when you switch over. The amount of effort put into the interface is quite a bit. It's pretty remarkable. Who is the Bronco for? So in my opinion, it's not for everyone. And you're gonna be like, why are you saying that? I've had a lot of friends come up to the Bronco, and if they're not Jeep people, they're not off-roading people, it definitely doesn't appeal to everyone. On the road, Bronco is very smooth to drive. Most of the trims come with Bill Stein suspension. You know, the best in the business, pretty much. So this model, the one I'm driving, has the 2.3 EcoBoost that you would find in the Mustang or the Ford Ranger or something like that, with the 10-speed auto. You can also opt for a 2.7 liter V6 EcoBoost, which is the one I went off-roading in. And a lot of people are gonna say, why wasn't there a V8? Why wasn't there at least a 3.5 EcoBoost? Guys, I wanted to say the same thing until I actually went off-roading and realized that you really didn't need any more power, because it had plenty of torque. And the thing is when you're crawling on rocks, crawling on cliffs, you're big towing it. It's more about throttle control than how much power you actually have. Floor it. And that's it, right? It's not meant to be a showstopper. So let's talk about the interior. This is where it's the biggest difference between the competitor Jeep, in my opinion. So the interior is, in my opinion, the layout is super cool. You feel special, it feels cool, but the materials are not as quote-unquote nice as the newer Jeeps. The newer Jeeps have more leather and suede and stuff like that. This goes for a much more utilitarian mindset. In other words, they know people are gonna be off-roading this thing and it's gonna be easier to clean. I mean, it sounds like plastic, it's plastic, but it's textured. It looks nice to the eye. It doesn't look like an eyesore. And also, if you think about it, you take a rag and a little bit of cleaning product, it'll come right off. Meanwhile, with leather or cloth, all that sand and dirt gets kind of deep in there and it's not as easy to clean. The soft materials in the Bronco with the right interior, they're good enough for my taste. I think it looks really nice when you get in. Even though every time I show somebody the Bronco and they take a seat in it, I always kind of warn them, yes, I know there's some plastics on the dash. Every single person, other than hardcore off-roaders, don't care. Almost everybody I've shown this interior to goes, this is nice. So to the general public, 90% of people think this interior is cool. Also, I love the steering wheel. I like how the steering wheel feels in my hand. I like the materials. I like how soft it is. The buttons, instead of being these clicky, gross plastic buttons, are more of like this soft cushion feeling against your finger. So it doesn't have that illusion of cheap buttons, if that makes sense. Also, physical knobs for climate control, physical knobs for your heated seats, heated steering wheel. Also, in the doors are these really nice nets, which I know, really nice nets, but they come in handy because you can just stack stuff in here, and if you're going off-road, they're not gonna go anywhere. They have tension to it, right? This is the 4-door. I prefer the 2-door when it comes to the aesthetics. I just love how menacing and how much presence it has. And also, the 2-door is the one I took off-road, so there's a place in my heart. And to me, the 2-door is the true, that's a Bronco, right? The 4-door still serves its purpose. Also, you might notice we're in the rag top. I prefer the hard top. This one in particular is on the factory 32s, I believe, but you can get optional 35s, and they look awesome, and they're on beadlock wheels. They're so sick, and for off-roading, it's absolutely perfect. Whoa, such speed. I will say it's faster than the older Jeeps, which were just absolute pigs. That just drove me nuts. But I do have a little bit more of an outside perspective to this culture because I'm just not in it. And when I drive the Bronco on the street, the entire time I'm thinking is, yes, this is a nice riding vehicle on the street. It's comfortable, it's great. But when you see those aiming sights on the fenders, you're like, this thing needs to be off-road. You crave it almost. You start looking at the environment around you differently. You're like, oh yeah, I could totally go over that. Or yeah, I could totally drive in this grass or this dirt over here. Why not? But we also have 2 high, 4 low, 4 high, all that good stuff. You're ready to go in any situation. The locking system is super user-friendly. You hit this button built into the dash where the hero buttons are, and it's easy. I just want to talk about how well they captured the front end of the Bronco. It's my favorite part of this vehicle. And this vehicle has great road presence. It's not a sports car, but the amount of people that have come up to me to talk to me while getting gas, grabbing a drink at the gas station, or just stopping at stoplights. I've had Jeep Wranglers try to do pulls on me. I'm just like, what are you doing, dude? Just relax. I'm cruising in my Bronco. It's really fascinating seeing people's opinion of it, but it's been overwhelmingly positive. There's only been like one person who's been like, I will never buy it, it's a Ford. Ugh. And I think that's a huge testament to Ford in creating a product that looks really mean and menacing for an off-road vehicle out of the box. And with the sway bar disconnect, the lockers, the 35-inch tires, all those options, the Bronco shines the most when it's optioned properly. When you have all the right options, it's a perfect out-of-the-box off-road vehicle. Like, in my opinion, it does not get better. When you have everything, the sway bar disconnect, like I've talked about earlier, it doesn't get better, like when it comes to OEM. Plus, with the Bilstein shocks and all that stuff, you're done. You don't need anything else. Like, you don't have to do any of that stuff that protects your oil pan. You don't have to do any of that. Shoot, it's perfect for putting a winch there. There's a tow hook on the back. It comes with tow straps in the back. It's like, ready for any situation. I also want to mention there's oh crap handles mounted all over the Bronco, built into the dash and for the passenger in the center console. But the Badlands, in my opinion, oh yeah, by the way, sorry to interrupt that sentence, wireless charging. So when I put this down, it's charging. The Badlands is the one to start at, in my opinion. If you're going to invest money into the Bronco for off-roading, for having a great old time, start with the Badlands. That's where you start getting the better options and more hero buttons. As far as I know, most people who are really into the off-roading and have all unanimously agreed, like, start with the Badlands, start with the 35-inch tires, start with the sway bar disconnect, the front lockers, the rear locker. This one in particular has the rear locker and also this button that adjusts the suspension and the diffs to do almost like a perfect 90-degree turn on dirt. It's super weird. I did it when I was off-roading. I don't think it's 90 degrees specifically. That was probably exaggeration, but the thing turns on a dime, and the turning radius of the Bronco is unfreaking believable. Tons of personality, tons of character. They nailed it. Ford nailed the Bronco in my opinion. Also, you can remove the entire roof with the hardtop or the soft top. And could the dash have a little bit nicer materials? Sure, but at the same time, I just don't care. The Bronco to me is a recreational, fun vehicle that you could daily drive every day, especially with the hardtop. Ford Bronco, what do you guys think of it? And listen, especially to all my Jeep guys out there, try to see past that it's a Ford, okay? Try to see past that, because I think they really did nail the design of this thing, at least looks-wise. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Side note, the Bronco logo, they did a really good job on by differentiating it from the Mustang, and there's only one Ford logo on the entire truck, and it's right in the back. It's kind of hard to see. They really did a good job making this its own kind of brand and own kind of identity. Thank you guys so much. If you like to support this channel, make sure to head over to PattersonCarCare.com. It is my own original detail formula brand made right here in the US of A, and I upload on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, and I will see you guys next time, and take it easy. Have a wonderful day. Bronco!